a doctor from Nakuru who will also help us to get the fresh frozen plasma.
Yeah.
So from there, we would be booked into the ward. Live during that time. Some people also had also marked our bed because it was frequent. When we got injured, it was frequent. So we would be booked a particular bed. So from there, we started the medication. And after some few days or months, we started seeing improvement. And that's when we were linked to Eldoret, MTRH. So ideally, we started at the AMPAS, to which now they shifted their center to Chandari. So we started there, met some few doctors. They gave us, during that time, we didn't understand. We were quite young. We didn't understand what was going on. So your parent will tell you, usicheze mpira, usiende kucheza rugby, don't do this, don't do that. But you don't understand what the reason is behind that. So from there, once we got to interact with the doctors, we were taught on how it comes about. During that time, you're a kid, and even if someone asks you, you don't even know the cause behind it. So that's when we started seeing the doctors, and it has been a journey from there, a step each day. And I always count a victory every day. Any day that I wake up,
strong power, Shujaa, we are heroes.
So it's been a journey with the resilience. And what challenges did you face, or what kept you moving on as you went through that life?
So that's a very good question, Pius. And I want to answer it in two ways. So one of the things I'd say about the challenges that I went through, it's almost like the patients of hemophilia all go through challenges, but maybe to some extent they are different, but not so different from each other. So I'd say the first thing was I'd say lack of knowledge, first and first. We didn't know how to, number one, take care of ourselves. We had to learn that again. Number two was the availability of the factor 8. When I was growing up, we didn't know much about it. So you find when I'm injured, I just take Panadol. And over time, if we had earlier known about that, I believe some of the injuries or the swellings that I have right now wouldn't have been there. Also was the stigma from the students in our school and the society at large. You find since it's a rare condition, most patients undergo stigmatization from the community. They don't know how to take care of them, because even if today you're injured, you are playing outside, the people that you're playing with are only used to people faint, the normal things, fainting, so they know how to take care of that. If you're cut, how to apply pressure. But you see, when you're injured or you have a crisis at that particular moment, and your leg may be stiff, or you have intense pain from the joints, they don't know how to help you. And then since it's something rare to them, they tend to ignore and say that we will not associate with a particular person, because they believe if interact with you, number one, you might. For some, I had someone say that I might infect their children, and I might find that they don't want to
associate.
They just opt. They don't want to harm you, so they don't associate with you entirely. So you find that stigmatization. And also, from my own self, I'd say I also contributed to the pain that I was going through, because I didn't invest time to know what I was going through and how it would affect me in the earlier ages. So I wouldn't say that it was big big challenges, but it was substantive that each and every patient goes through. So quite a challenge. I believe you also know the particular pain that we have when you have an injury of the sort.
Yeah. Once I was. Let me add on that. When I was at high school, beside high school in the community too, we'll find out that people lack knowledge about hemophilia, and that leads to us now at least trying to raise our voices, use our voices as power, so that we reach out, so that they understand that it's just a rare condition. So was there a moment that Ushaisema, I can't do it as a Shujaa, or I can't push through as I live with the blood disorder?
Yeah. For most patients, I'd also say they've reached a point. At the end of the day, we are only human, so we are susceptible to some emotions. Sometimes we fall some traps. But I believe during that time, one of the greatest pillars in my life were my parents and God also. So you find there was a particular moment, because you see, this is a new thing. You've been diagnosed with it. You don't know how it came through, how like you also have that self-esteem issue, because you cannot go through the same stages that other boys go through. You can't, even if there's certain games in school, I believe all boys play football, but nowadays that's subject to discussion. But initially, during our age, we were playing football. So you find since you can't even kick a ball, not because they don't want to add you into their game, but you as yourself, you feel like your body cannot accommodate such games. So you find that there's self-esteem issues. You also ask yourself some questions: why only me? So it's emotions that people go through, which are normal. But I'd say I'd want to tell the people that are listening, this shouldn't be something that should be defining. You shouldn't allow such emotions to get the best out of you. So during that, I remember we having a conversation with my parents. Both me and my brother had a conversation with our parents, and they got to explain to us what we actually were going through. And they gave us word of encouragement. And also we had Dr. Sam Bunya, who also frequently used to make visits. And you see, like when we used to go to these patient retreats, you find that you will meet with other patients who have a similar condition like you. Some of them, I also had a friend who passed away, Ben. So Ben was a friend of mine. The first patient that I ever knew who had hemophilia. MTRH, and he was also instrumental in giving me hope, because I believed that this is a death sentence, to be honest. So because you're seeing yourself, you cannot do anything that the other kids are doing. So during that time, I started talking to other patients like Ben, who gave me hope. He also explained that this is not a permanent thing, and you can actually live a long life if you just take some necessary precautions into your health, and also practice some few exercises here and there, and some measures just to keep you healthy. So we started talking, engaging over the phone sometimes, calls. He even made personal visits to our home during that time. And it was instrumental in hope that, you know what, you can actually do the same things that other kids are doing. You just only need to put more extra care into what you're doing. You cannot even kick a ball, yes, but there's the other games that you can play which are twice as fun, and at the same time are also beneficial to your body. So that's all I can say that made me the person that I am.
So it's said that your support system and the people that you connect can shape who you becoming.
Definitely, yeah.
That's perfect. And moving on, let me touch on you becoming a law student. What made you become or want to be a law student?
Yeah, so law has always been my dream course ever since I was young. I've always fancied the idea of becoming a lawyer and fighting for people who are not able to fight for themselves. Basically, being a voice to the voiceless. I grew up seeing the injustices in the society. I also got an opportunity to see how policies might affect the citizenry without them knowing how to combat or safeguard themselves with it. So I'd say law has always been a thing that I love. Ever since I was young, I started interests when I was around class 5. That's when I started saying that I wanted to do law. But it has not been an easy task. I will say that it has been a stroll in the park. It has been quite not a, but some effort was put into getting where I am today. The hemophilia patient only made it slightly harder than the normal person to do it, because you might find I used to miss some few days in the academic calendar because of injuries, because of such. But at the end of the day, I'd say the three things that made me do law. Number one was the passion for it. I absolutely love helping out people. And I believe that is a calling that I have, is to serve. Number two, I love serving people. And this is demonstrated even in the positions that I have in the school and outside there. So that's the second. That thing I'd say, it's just the desire to be better. I believe one of the best things that can help me as a hemophilia patient is having an income generating source that doesn't harm me in the process. You believe? So me, doesn't require a lot of work. It's not like being a mason that you can go outside there, carry rocks and carry cement, you see. So it's something that is also helping me or an adaptation process that helps me become the best of what God created me to be, number one. And number two, being an inspiration to other children and patients. When I was growing up, I used to look up to Odek. Odek is also a lawyer, an advocate of the High Court. And when I used to love the way he would articulate himself, the way he'd explain out points. And I thought to myself that I want to be such a person. And it is possible because he had already done it and there was the results. So I promised myself, when I got the opportunity to read, I'd put the best that I have forward and achieve what God created me to do.
So truly you're becoming a Shujaa, and God will guide you on your endeavors and willingness to craft change in whatever means possible through actionating. So what role has your family, peers, friends at Riara University, support system, at least as I may say, give you a perspective that with a support system you can reach far? So what are the roles that have they played in your life so that you feel motivated, you feel at least that push to drive change in the community or change in whatever that you are doing right now?
Thank you for that, Pius. I'd say this is also in three ways. Number one, my support system, my parents and everyone. The first thing is pecuniary support. I believe going to uni is not it's not as cheap as people might think. It's actually an expensive endeavor. So by the grace of God and my parents, they are supporting me in achieving my goals. So like paying for my tuition fees and everything, that's one way of supporting me and giving me, you know, when someone believes in you and is truly invested in supporting you, it also makes you want to like give back and say thank you to this person.
You feel
Because
empowered.
you feel empowered, number one. Number two, you don't want to let this person down because he has invested his resources into you. That's the first thing. The second thing I'd say is psychological support. It's not an easy journey. Again, it's not a hard one. It's something that is achievable. So every now and then, if I feel like there's something that is quite hard for me, I tend to ask help from my parents and just call them, have a chat here and there, and get to explain to them what I'm feeling. And also having friends who are of the same condition as I am. When we talk and they also give you some hope, because you might tell someone that I have not been feeling well for the past week, and then someone else told you that I've been even more sick than you. It's not a laughing. Like so have that sense of gratitude that you're not that bad, but also at the same time you have that sense of like I should be grateful for what I have right now. And in as much as I am grateful, I should also strive to be more better than I am today. Because there's a story that is told that a king once commissioned some servants to bring him something that will make him look at it, and then he will frown. And when he's happy, he will frown. And when he's sad, he will also be happy. So I each situation passes. And when I'm in such a condition that I feel like I am down or I am happy, you know, having a support system is great into making sure you achieve your dreams, and number two, also your overall well-being.
Okay. So it's just taking care of yourself and believing that you can do with the right people around you. So what lessons have you learned as a law student that applies as a patient in Riara University, and as a patient who aspires to at least advocate for the Western chapter under the Kenya Hemophilia Association?
Thank you so much. Just to point out, I was recently nominated as the patient representative for Western chapter. So that's a position that I am excited to serve for this particular time. So one of the things I'd say I've learned in Riara or in my journey as a law student is to advocate. You know, when you listen to people, and primarily one of the things that I am learning is to nikutetea watu, So that is essential into me being an advocate for people living with hemophilia. Number two is having that ability to also understand that there are ways we as patients can also implement or draft policies. You know, in as much as we are patients, there are also policies we can draft and submit to the government, and we can get some aid, or alternatively get an easier route into us coexisting and being successful into the society. And then finally, I'd say is being articulate. You know, one of the things that we learn in school is being articulate and explaining your issues properly to the audience. So those are some few things I'd say I have learned. And number three is just being resilient. You know, they say if you are persistent, you will get it, and if you are consistent, you will keep it. So
So you being resilient, being a Shujaa, and now vying for the RUSA president with a slogan, "We can make it, or we can make Riara work." What inspired you to step into leadership?
I believe everything rises and falls with leadership. You know, even you as a person reaching the place that you have right now is through leadership. The way you govern yourself. So leadership is something we cannot run away from. And I believe most times we are prone to bad governance because the people that have good ideas don't necessarily run. So you find that 90% of the people that are governing us are people who took that initiative. 90%, 80 or 55% of them don't necessarily have anything tangible to put forward, but because the citizenry is afraid of putting their best foot forward and trying these things, we don't get the things that we deserve. So for me, leadership is one of the ways I express myself, putting myself out there to the service of, and also it's one of the ways I serve God, because leadership is also from God. So when you're given an opportunity to touch the lives of people and make tangible changes into their life, I believe that's one of the greatest gifts that a person can ever have. So me trying out politics is one of the ways that I, number one, give hope to other children and other patients, because if you see someone who's doing great things and doing good things in their life, you might also want to emulate them and be like them. And number two is also a way that I get to use my platform to tell people about hemophilia and advocate for better coexistence and remove that stuff of stigma. Like a few months ago, I had a CBO that was running in Nakuru, and we used to have this program that we did go to schools and explain to lecturers and teachers about hemophilia, and we'd have a session, such kids, and I'd get to explain to them that if you see a particular kid with such a condition, do not stigmatize them, and number two, also love them, because I believe love is what the world needs.
Simon? Simon K. Thuo. So he was talking about leadership and how Simon K. Thuo is at least changing lives out here through resilience, through courage, and through advocating for the change, so that at least the governance should change, and how things are being taken on the ground as people living with blood disorders, as those that have families that have blood disorders. Let's all be advocate for each other, so that we reach out to that people living with blood disorders. So beyond the voices of Shujaa, today you've learned that being your own Shujaa, accepting that you can live fully with a blood disorder, we can all join hands together and reach out to that undiagnosed person living with the vulnerable disease, living with hemophilia and sickle cell. Let's all advocate for change, and let's all use our voices so that we reach out to a more broad community, so that they understand, so that we don't face social stigma, we don't face social isolation that leads to us breeding change together. Welcome back, Simon Thuo. And we was talking about leadership. So adding on leadership, what unique perspective do you bring as someone living with Hemophilia A?
In terms of leadership, I'd say one of the things that I aspire to do, or impact the next generation, is through mentorship. I believe when I was growing up, there were not as many people there that I could approach. I thank God for the few that were there, but also I believe I had some few more people who were ahead of me, giving me hope and supporting me through the journey. I would have appreciated that when I was young. So one of the things that I aspire to do when given the chance by God to live is to enter the younger generation. So the younger generation, by telling them that, number one, this is not a death sentence. It's something that we can manage and we can overcome through the right method, eating, healthcare, and physical activities like training them such. Also, number two is getting to advocate for them for better conditions, like policies. Yeah, if we were working on a particular policy that we were supposed to take to the government, we are still on the progress of that. So such particular things, I'd say, I'd strive to mentor and give hope. You know, Napoleon Bonaparte said that a leader is a dealer with hope. So it's just to offer younger generation and given the chance, do other great things that will impact patients of hemophilia.
Perfect. Beyond campus, how do you see your role as an hemophilia advocate, as a patient, as a law student in the community in Kenya?
Beyond the school, I believe it's just to practice. Everything is quite easy in campus because it's theory. Now, stepping into the shoes of the society, number one, is to identify the problems that they are going through. And one of the things that patients go through is stigmatization, lack of information, and there's also people out there who haven't even identified that they have hemophilia. So I'd say when God gives me that opportunity, once I'm done with university, I'd strive to reach out to the people out there and creating an environment where the law the law itself as theory and me as a person that be able to converge and form a symbiotic relationship in terms of that their problems can get a solution, and also me as a person can be able to impact them positively for them to benefit what God has given me, which is knowledge.
So in conclusion, what do you stand by as an advocate so that you reach out to that undiagnosed person, so that you at least empower others to be their own Shujaas? What message will you give out there, and what legacy are you looking forward to leave so that others at least try and relate so that they get empowered too?
You know, empowerment means a lot of things, there's particular people who need medical empowerment. They don't have access to the drugs such as factor 8. There is others intellectual empowerment, which is like knowledge, the things that we are doing right now, having such sessions such as this. This is also essential for them to learn. I believe at the end of this session, there's someone who has learned something interesting, or ideally has had hope about the future. And then finally, just as a final message to the people living with hemophilia, is just to have hope and be resilient. Again, I reiterate that this is not, but at the same time is not hard. It's something that we can do once me and together and form a formidable team, which we can be able to live in a happy society, such as me giving you some intel about how I take care of myself, how I live with this condition, and how I have managed to overcome particular obstacles, and the other person giving me his own experiences. We are exchanging such information, and at the end of the day, we are building ourselves and building capacity.
That's empowering to me too. And that's, let's say, a message that will shape and advocate for change out there. I must say thank you. And lastly, where will even if a person is looking forward to partner with you, how can a person reach out to you? Through platforms, or where are you advocating for change?
I believe I am across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can always send a message through WhatsApp. I wouldn't object to anyone sending a message if there's in terms of partnerships or even just a question. I believe I'm an approachable person. It comes with the job description. I believe leaders are supposed to be open to the society. So you can find me through my paid platforms, Simon K. Thuo, or across all platforms, Instagram, everywhere. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Simon K. Thuo, a leader and a true Shujaa that through avoiding fear, through not letting fear hold you back, we can reach far. Thank you for the opportunity. And I feel empowered through your story and looking forward to at least learn more and let's work together so that we advocate for change. Thank you. For those that haven't subscribed, like and share to How to Hemo Shujaa and the Voices of Shujaa, you learn more about how managing a blood disorder, and you can even unlock that self-infinite possibility. Let's all actionate whatever that we have in mind, and always take care of your cognitive reserve so that you unlock that what's under the hood. Stay Shujaa and always use your voice to unlock more full possibility.